What I want to have happen from this talk is that I make more money. While the world is going to hell in a handbasket, everything is getting worse in all possible ways, and there's systemic racism everywhere, and it's utterly
There can be no motivation to reduce suffering, and therefore no respite.
You are not. That's completely ridiculous. You're not transparent to yourself by any stretch of the imagination.
Negative emotion, so that's anxiety.
I know you think that, but I don't believe that using your pronouns is going to do you any good in the long run. I think it'll do quite the contrary.
What?
Is that your medical opinion?
What? Is that your medical opinion?
University of Toronto psychology professor Jordan Peterson has a fight on his hands.
In the past 2 years, the Canadian psychologist and academic has been adopted as a hero.
You've almost certainly seen this man on your screen. A unique man for sure. Jordan Peterson has been labelled the most misunderstood guy in the world. And well, let's be honest, it's pretty understandable.
But the suspension will not be lifted unless I delete the hateful tweet in question, and I would rather die than do that.
Born on June 12, 1962 in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and coming in at a masculine 6'2".
A human being in good shape can run a horse to death in a week.
This is a story behind one of the world's most misinterpreted men and how he has changed our world.
Keep your hands off my fucking car.
Yeah, right.
Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist and professor of psychology at the University of Toronto. He's also written a multitude of books, including the 12 Rules for Life, and has recently become one of the world's most controversial individuals to step foot on social media.
I just want to say, I really hate Jordan Peterson.
I think that Jordan Peterson thinks that he's trying to help young men. It should be obvious, it is obvious to nearly everyone else, that what he's doing is...
There's a lot to learn about this man, but let's start from the beginning. Jordan was raised in Fairview, Alberta, where his father was a school teacher and his mother a college librarian. Essentially, he was set up to be an academic genius. Whilst at school, Jordan was introduced to the literacy works of George Orwell and Ayn Rand and many similar other authors by a school librarian who happened to be the mother of the Canadian political and Alberta New Democratic Party leader. After graduating from Fairview High School in 1979, Jordan began attending Grande Prairie Regional College, where he would study English literature and political science.
And I read a lot. I pretty much read a book a day from the time I was about 10 till I started reading really serious books and couldn't read one of those in a day.
In his teens, Jordan was also working for the New Democratic Party. However, this didn't last long as he later quit at age 18. After leaving college, Jordan transferred to the University of Alberta, where he obtained his BA in political science in 1982 and went on to travel Europe.
Can't see what your country is until you leave it. So you have to go into the unknown, and that's God's first command. Go into the unknown.
He grew interested in psychological origins and returned to university to study psychology and gained the degree in 1984.
To go out and be curious and to learn new things can be very exciting. And so what it seems to be is that there's a rate of learning that's too fast, and that hurts you. That's what makes you cry.
It didn't stop there though. Jordan relocated to Montreal in 1985 and obtained a PhD in clinical psychology in 1991 at McGill University. This kid was a real deal when it came to psychology. You name it, he has it.
Thank you.
Jordan's career kicked off at the University of Harvard, teaching in the psychology department from 1993 all the way till 1998. Whilst working here, he examined aggression caused from substance abuse and must have done a half-decent job as he was nominated for the Leviton's Teaching Prize in 1998. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, however, and miss a crucial part to a man's life. In 1989, Jordan married Tammy Roberts, with whom he had 2 children, 1 daughter and 1 son. In July 1998, after leaving his job at Harvard, Jordan returned to Canada where he began working as a full-time professor at the Toronto University and is still working at the university as I speak. So really, so far, all we've established is that this man is a bit of a psychology nerd. That's not the truth. If he was just a psychology nerd, we wouldn't have heard of him, right?
Students.
That's your opinion, and I'm not going
It
to
is my opinion.
disrespect students.
Jordan took things into his own hands and began his journey as an author. In 1999, he published Maps of Meaning, The Architecture of Belief. This book focuses on the structures of the systems of belief and the roles those systems play in the regulation of emotions. However, this wasn't an overnight success. Jordan spent 13 years developing this book. The classroom lectures Peterson taught on psychology were made into a 13-part TV series. After this, Jordan became a popular guest on many popular current affair programs such as The Big Ideas.
You know,
you need to have respect for the rest of your citizens, and if your country isn't going to pull itself apart. And I really see this happening from an outsider's perspective when I come down here. And I lived in the States for a while, and it wasn't like this before.
More recently, in March 2013, Jordan began his YouTube channel, Jordan Peterson Videos, in which he posts many of his lectures and interviews.
Oh, well, what the hell would happen if I put these on YouTube? There seems to be a market for them.
Looking at his channel now is pretty impressive. 474,690,531 views and a total of 5.94 million subscribers. Jordan is not playing games. It's about at this point in Jordan's life when things began to change.
Oh, look at that, I'm awake in the morning.
September 2016, Jordan posted a number of videos on YouTube criticising many political subjects and a Canadian government Bill C16.
Bill C16 purported to do nothing but extend human rights provisions to an excluded group, let's say, to the transgender and non-gender binary types. Yeah, and so there's all these pronouns that have come up. There's 70 different sets of pronouns approximately to hypothetically describe people who don't fit anywhere on the gender spectrum, which is also something that I don't really understand. It's one thing to put limits on what a person can't say, like say with hate speech laws, which I also don't agree with, by the way, but that's a different argument. I think it's a narrower argument. And so I said, there's no way I'm abiding by that. I don't care what your damn rationale is.
Following many of Jordan's videos, there were multiple protests, some violent and some not. This consequently led to Jordan being issued 2 warning letters from the University of Toronto.
Fuck Jordan Peterson! Fuck Jordan Peterson!
In April 2017, Peterson was refused a grant from Social Science and Humanities Research Council. He considered this a punishment against a Bill 16 statement. This meant the Jordan Peterson War had begun. The Jordan B. Peterson podcast was born in 2016. However, after its controversial rise in popularity, the podcast brought in close to 1 million listeners per episode and over 55,000 downloads. Jordan was also on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, in which brought in over 21 million views and over 27,000 comments, in which many were supporting him.
So that's bloody impressive.
In January 2018, Peterson published 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos.
Okay, let's sort this mess out.
This self-help book lays out a simple set of principles that can be used to become more disciplined, behave better, act with integrity, and balance our lives while enjoying them as much as we can. To further promote this book, Jordan went on a world tour where he had many interviews, including one from Channel 4. This interview instantly went viral, with 9 million views, further adding to his army of support. However, this army literally took the army part a bit too far. The interviewer, Kathy Newman, who challenged some of Peterson's points, received so many death threats, the police had to get involved. This book later went on to become the #1 bestseller book on Amazon in Canada and the USA.
Hell, let's party.
Peterson was a clever man, let's not forget, and he wasn't going to leave without capitalising on this storm of publicity. In 2016, Jordan was filmed by a group of student activists from the University of Toronto who were angry Peterson had refused to recognise their gender identity. In the video, Peterson is able to turn the argument around completely and show impressive proof of his genius bravery he preaches so much.
And so I said, there's no way I'm abiding by that. I don't care what your damn rationale is.
A particular clip of this conversation has reached well over 3.5 million views on YouTube. From this, Jordan had given himself substantial social proof that played a part in his personal brand success. He is currently earning £80,000 a month from Patreon donations alone. Peterson was also making approximately £200,000 a month from his consulting clinical practice. In addition, he'll be receiving royalties from an estimated 5 million books he has sold, a regular salary from his university job, and a YouTube paycheck for his million subscriber channel, in which all compiles to an estimated net worth of £8 million in December 2022. Can't complain about that, eh? This just about summarises the rise of Jordan Peterson and his development from the average psychology professor to an internet icon of the self-improvement and mindset space. Many people hate on this man, and I'd have to agree that some of the things this man says are a little extreme for us. I'm interested to hear your views and opinions on Jordan Peterson, so make sure to drop a comment. I'll be uploading another video on the rise of next week, so make sure you subscribe if you're interested. I'll see you in the next video.